Have a great show, everybody.
Got it.
Is she? No way. I was about to say, Vaughn, you're just looking for Syracuse everywhere.
That is a little bright.
Oh, whatever. Tony, don't do this.
That's quite not Tennessee, but that is. That's got a little Auburnish too.
Don't do this to me, Tony.
That's a hard orange to find. Starting lineups for this afternoon's game for the Longhorns of Texas. 3 seniors in the starting 5, a sophomore and a freshman. All eyes will be focused on Holmes and Koyer. And for West Virginia, Coach Mike Carey with a senior, 2 juniors, and 2 sophomores in his starting group. The head coach of Texas is Karen Aston in her 8th season, former Big 12 Conference Coach of the Year, 174 wins at UT. And head coach Mike Carey presented a game ball just a few moments ago for obtaining his 400th career win at West Virginia. In fact, he's 7 wins away from 700 all time in the opening tip, controlled by West Virginia.
Congratulations to Coach, indeed.
Man-to-man defense by Texas, and Monica, this is something they played very well against Iowa State.
That indeed, Tony, that was one of their best defensive performances so far this season, but we're going to see a lot of man across the board tonight.
Outside and deep, Madison Smith puts West Virginia on the board.
A good sign for the West Virginia Mountaineers. If they can get going on the outside, it certainly will open up the penetration on the inside.
And like Texas, West Virginia will stay primarily in man-to-man defense. Holmes has incredible athleticism. Nice backdoor cut. Taylor's shot off the mark. And West Virginia will take it back.
Early offense, Tony. It's a good sign when that first shot from behind the arc goes in, but it was the penetration by Gondrzak attacking the high post area and then pitching to Madison Smith. The bucket is good. You love it.
Martin, who had the hot hand in West Virginia's last game, drops it inside, and they're going to call a foul right off the bat. That's Charlie Koyer with the inside foul. It'll be our first foul of the game, exactly 1 minute in.
That is going to be a matchup to keep an eye on, Tony. Blessing Ejiofor is a junior, while Charlie Koyer has made a tremendous jump from her freshman to sophomore season. Blessing has the edge, and so it'll be interesting to see whether Charlie can stay focused and defend without fouling.
Nyblack forces one up and gets her own miss.
Fantastic aggression and offensive rebounding by Kari Nyblack. She was someone that Coach Carey told me he would consider to be a bit of an X factor for this squad.
Tynice Martin knocks it down from out front early on. West Virginia goes up 5-0.
It's a little too early for a heat check, but anytime you come out of your move and kind of fling it up like that and it happens for you, Tony, that's a good sign.
Martin tried to save that rebound. Last touch by the Longhorns. Early on, West Virginia, good work on the offensive glass.
Kari Nyblack just gets inside of Charlie Koyer and does a great job of going after the basketball. There is no foul there. And then Tynice Martin, woo, the cross between the legs, the step back, that's nasty.
Nyblack. Not this time, but again, West Virginia working the offensive glass, cannot hold on to it. Meeting-wise, this is the 20th all-time between West Virginia and Texas. Longhorns leading the overall series 12-7. A year ago, each team won 1 game in the regular season, but they did it on the other team's home floor.
I just think these teams match up so well, Tony. I'm not going to lie. I got my schedule. I was like, ooh, I'm going to circle that one.
Tynice Martin can't make it from the corner. And we're going to get another foul here against Texas. That's going to go against Holmes, her first and the team's second. Early on in Big 12 conference play, West Virginia undefeated at 2-0. You see the Baylor Bears, then Oklahoma, TCU, Texas so far 1-1. Their loss came to TCU. They were victorious at Iowa State in their last game.
Yeah, it's too early to call the loss to TCU an outlier, but it's something that I think folks that cover this conference closely were a little bit surprised about. But credit TCU for taking advantage of protecting their home court.
Contact on the inbound against West Virginia. Blessing Ejiofor commits the foul. Texas looking for its first points.
So what you just saw from Charlie Koyer, setting the pick and then popping. Coach Carey said that we are going to allow both Koyer and Joyner Holmes to pop and see if they can hit those shots. The defensive communication by the Mountaineers, collapsing, deflecting that pass, what could have been an easy 2 for Jada Underwood.
Good defense by West Virginia on the inbounds, a 5-second violation. Texas could not get it in, and the Mountaineers will take the ball over. Texas was off the chart great against Iowa State and not turning the ball over. They had one there, but they had only 6 turnovers the entire game against Iowa State. And we're going to get a travel violation here against Ejiofor as they enter the ball into the post.
Not only do the turnovers stand out from that matchup, Tony, but they also started quick. I mean, we talked with Coach Aston about some of the inconsistency that she had seen from her team up until that point, and she talked about the importance of their start. So it'll be curious to see over the next few minutes if they can turn it on.
You know, Monica, 6 turnovers the entire game. How about this one? 1 turnover in the first 3 quarters against Iowa State.
And they were getting up and down the floor. It wasn't as if they were pit-patting the ball in the half-court set. They were finding one another in transition. They were pressuring Iowa State. That was just fantastic ball protection.
Good defense here by West Virginia, forcing a 3-second violation against the Longhorns, their second turnover. Early on, West Virginia up 5-0.
The bigs for Texas are going to have to stay focused on this one, both defensively and offensively.
This is Kaiser Gondrzak. Gets her first attempt back, can't finish it off, and here come the Longhorns.
Let's see if they can find a little bit of offense in, we'll call it a semi-transition break here.
Holmes' shot taken down by Ejiofor. Lid on the basket for Texas. They've missed their first 4 shots.
Tony, but I'm a little bit confused in terms of Texas. Their strength is scoring inside of the paint, and we haven't seen them really get there, whether it be finding Koyer and Holmes inside or even Shug Sutton attacking.
On the move, the shot goes for Gondrzak, and the Mountaineers score the game's first 7. In transition, Holmes beats everyone down, and Texas scores its first 2.
Let's see if that'll be the one that sort of opens up the lid, but I tell you, if Kaiser Gondrzak gets going and attacking the paint, Texas is going to have their hands full.
Shot clock inside of 10. This is Gondrzak. Off the move. She averages 18 a game. She scores her second straight, and West Virginia goes up by 7.
She has the ability to score at every level, and that time Charlie Koyer wasn't quite sure what she was doing defensively. The switch certainly was advantage Gondrzak.
Long 3 from Taylor, not there, slapped away by Ejiofor. Nice strong move by Shug Sutton, her first 2.
So far in Big 12 play, West Virginia has wins over both Kansas State and Kansas. But in those 2 matchups, particularly Angela Harris for Kansas State was able to sort of get going because she could attack downhill. I would expect Shug Sutton to look to take advantage of that as well.
Open look, and Ejiofor reins it in. Not known for her scoring, she only averages 2 points per game.
Well, she's going to exceed her average tonight, I would say so, Tony. I think I can say that with confidence.
West Virginia's made 5 of its first 9 shots. And going to get a travel violation here against Texas. Early on, West Virginia playing well offensively. Kaiser Gondrzak, a couple of field goals, and it's 11-4. West Virginia, 4:20 to go in our opening quarter.
our made in West Virginia partners in Koyer Insurance, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and Northeast Natural Energy for their continued support of Mountaineer basketball. All right, Adam, take it away.
All right, Mountaineer fans, who's hungry for a Julia's Original Pepperoni Roll? If you are, get on your feet and make some noise. It's time for the Julia's Original Pepperoni Roll Toss. Remember, you can get a Julia's Original Pepperoni Roll at the nearest concession here in the Coliseum. They are proud to be the official pepperoni roll of the Mountaineers.
Hot start for West Virginia. The Mountaineers with a 7-point lead. Blessing Ejiofor is going to get a seat, but before that, she got a little unexpected offense.
Indeed. Now, this is textbook execution of a pick and pop. Kaiser Kondratek comes off that little baby screen, and then look, wide open, shoot the ball with confidence. Ejiofor, 2 points today already.
Ejiofor came to West Virginia after spending time at Chipola Junior College, began her career at Vanderbilt.
You don't get to Vanderbilt if you don't have a little bit of game. Now she's certainly making an impression as a Mountaineer.
Madison Smith gets caught under, and West Virginia turns the ball over.
Smith, definitely a willing passer. That's one of those where it's like, look, you were right there. Just absorb some contact, take a trip to the free throw line.
It's going to be interesting here, Monica, to see if, in fact, Texas does start to go down inside. Off the bounce, the bucket there for LaShawn Higgs.
I tell you what, Tony, you and I sound pretty smart. We keep talking about Texas needing to attack the paint, and then look what we get. LaShawn Higgs, who's coming back from an injury and has a great presence for this squad, doing what she does well.
Open look for Tynice Martin. Kept alive on the glass, very well done, and we're going to get mutual possession. Arrow will go to Texas, but credit Kari Nyblack there battling on the offensive glass.
Indeed, and both of these coaches talked about the battle of the boards being a key in tonight's basketball game. Nyblack inside, surrounded by orange jerseys, but Joanne Allen-Taylor gets a hand in there. Now, interesting, we just had a substitution, Tony. Joyner Holmes comes back into the ball game. I wonder if part of her time away was, hey, I need some energy from you. Joanne Allen-Taylor and this young lady with the basketball, LaShawn Higgs, do a great job of bringing energy off of the bench.
Higgs fouled and knocked to the ground. We'll get free throws coming up here at 3:10 to go. Second time that Higgs took the ball strong to the basket.
She's so good at finishing in traffic, and if she doesn't finish, she at least earns a trip to the free throw line.
Foul call went against Nyblack, her first, West Virginia's second team foul.
Outside of the penetration and finish by Shug Sutton earlier in the first quarter, since Higgs has come on the floor, that's the most north-south movement I've seen out of this Texas team.
misses both. West Virginia trying to build on a 5-point lead. Getting a look now at KK Deans running the point. She's just checked in for the first time. Mike Carey said he wanted to see more from Kari Nyblack in this game, and there she draws the foul, and she'll have an opportunity for 2.
Nyblack blew past Higgs with that beautiful, long, quick first step and attacked the paint.
First foul against Alan Taylor as Audrey Warren comes in. Jada Underwood will take a seat. Audrey Warren coming back from a concussion, and they've been measuring her minutes delicately and getting her back into the flow. Nyblack has struggled from the free throw line this season, just at 53%, and misses both there. And we're going to get a foul call here against Texas, and that is Audrey Warren making contact there, trying to go after the miss, and Texas picks up the foul.
Oh. Well, look at Audrey Warren. They got Air Warren on the bench. That was during the Iowa State game. Celebrating. I mean, there was a lot to celebrate if you're wearing that burnt orange in that matchup. However, Tony, to pick up a foul 94 feet away from your basket, woo!
Off a missed foul shot, not what you want.
That is not Twitter-worthy either, for sure.
Chandra Zick lost the handle. They say Texas touches it light.
I am unsure of Texas's overall strategy defending screens today. It has not really been clear to this point, and West Virginia is taking advantage of that.
Once again, West Virginia on the offensive glass, and there to put it in, Esme Martinez, who had just come into the game. Once again, Texas does a nice job getting inside in transition, and Holmes scores her second basket, though both of her buckets look very similar. She got down the floor very quickly.
Listen, but you continue to do it until West Virginia takes it away from you, Tony. I am not sure why she's the only one showing any urgency in transition as Tynice Martin. Baseline jump shot is catch.
Tynice Martin, one of the best players in West Virginia school history, her second bucket. Ball kept alive. Nice hustle play. Texas retains possession, but West Virginia will come away with it. Longhorns back defensively. Gondrzak has it swatted. Great block. Taylor clears it for the Longhorns.
I tell you, if we were to keep this pace, it probably benefits West Virginia because of the depth that they have. Texas is getting up and down without their starting point guard, Suge Sutton, who's waiting to check in.
We get a travel violation here. Texas commits its 5th of the quarter after having just 6 in the entire game against Iowa State.
To me, they have not played to their strengths to this point, Tony, but on defense, good job there by Joyner Holmes chasing down Gondrzak, and then Joyner Holmes sprints up the floor, beats the Mountaineers, and is able to get an easy 2. However, Joyner Holmes is a capable back-to-the-back scorer. We've seen her jack up a couple, I shouldn't say jack, take a few jump shots to this point, but I do not understand why Texas is not pressing the issue in the half-court set.
And West Virginia gives the turnover right back as Martinez walks. Head coach Mike Carey, his club, just 1 loss the entire season. They are 12-1 overall, 2-0 in Big 12 conference play. They enter into today's game ranked 19th in the country. As you can see, shooting-wise, Texas has missed all 3 of its 3-point attempts, but Suge Sutton scores her second field goal, brings the Longhorns to within 5.
And what did Suge do? Use the screen by Joyner Holmes and attack the paint.
And another traveling violation against West Virginia. That becomes its 6th turnover. Rochelle Norris on the travel. And now Texas, and the final 35 seconds of the quarter, down by 5. In transition, West Virginia, Gondrzak, got it.
That's an area in which she excels. We're talking about a 4-point swing, potentially. Joyner Holmes did a great job of setting that screen at the top of the key, but you've got to hold on to the basketball.
Holmes from long distance. And that'll bring an end to our first quarter of play. West Virginia on top by 7 after our first period of action. It's the Mountaineers 17, Texas 10. Shug Sutton with a couple of field goals, and Koyer Gondrzak has got a half a dozen. It's the Mountaineers by 7 after 1.
How about another round of applause for the WVU dance team?
All right, fans, now it's your turn to show us your best moves. It's time for the dance cam presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's see what you got.
Inside look at the state-of-the-art practice facility here at West Virginia University. It goes all the way back to the program's creation. Head coach Kitty Blakemore. 1984, Georgianne Wells became the first women's player to ever dunk a ball in a collegiate game. And Mike Carey has got his Mountaineers the top 35, 3 different categories, defensively from three-point range, scoring margin, and scoring defense. As I said earlier on, Mike Carey just 7 wins away from 700. His pedigree has always been defense, but Koyer Gondrzak showing a little offense here as well in that opening period.
Yeah, I'd put a little asterisk next to his pedigree for teams that get out and run in transition, and that is an area in which Koyer Gondrzak excels. I love the little hesitation, a little scoop in that shot.
West Virginia has played a extremely unusual schedule to this point in the season. Believe it or not, folks, this is West Virginia's second home game in 52 days. They pretty much stayed on the road during the early portion of the season trying to beef up the non-conference schedule, and it's paid off.
It has indeed, and High Post Hoops has their RPI for their schedule top 25 in women's basketball, and so that sort of road test is definitely something that prepares the squad as we look ahead to March.
Isabel Palmer called on the foul. There's Koyer Gondrzak, comes from a wonderful basketball family. Her mom, Lisa, won a national championship at Louisiana Tech. Her dad, of course, former NBA standout Grant Gondrzak. And she has played extremely well this season, averaging just under 18 points per game.
She's such a vital and valuable piece.
Ejiofor shot rolls off. Oh, my.
Oh, man. You hate to see it, especially at home, Tony.
Say the Longhorns could take advantage. Taylor in the crowd, got the bucket, and she'll get a free throw.
Now, we've talked with folks around the conference about Celeste Taylor, the freshman for the Longhorns, and folks are really, really excited about what she brings to the table. Love the beat that she took to sort of survey, and then she sweeps that ball through quickly, has a great first step going left, and is able to get the finish in traffic.
Just a freshman, but extremely experienced internationally. She has won 3 gold medals as part of USA basketball, double figures in 7 games this season. Texas early on struggling from the foul line. Nyblack gets bumped. They'll call it travel, and Texas now will retain possession.
These are the moments in which Texas needs to be looking to capitalize.
Taylor takes Tynice Martin inside. Good defense, West Virginia. That forces a turnover. And not to belabor the statistic, but think about it. They had 6 turnovers in their last game. They've got 7 turnovers already with 9 to go here in the opening half.
Well, so much of it is about their decisions to pound the rock in the paint, turn and spin. That time it works out well, but watch Suge Sutton attack to the left. She's going to be met by Madison Smith, and when she turns, no one follows her, and so she ends up moving her feet.
Once again, West Virginia battling on the offensive glass. And the arrow belonged to Texas.
Who other than Kari Nyblack? She seems to be making yeoman's work of that offside rebounding today. She's been in that spot a couple times that we've highlighted through this broadcast already.
You know, Monica, they don't get the possession there, but they are almost doubling up Texas now on the glass. 13-7 advantage West Virginia on the glass, and the Mountaineers, of those 13 rebounds, 7 have come on the offensive glass.
They understand the presence. Well, right now Holmes is not on the floor, but Charlie Collier and Joyner Holmes are a dynamic rebounding tandem, and so they know that they have to meet that intensity today. So far, they've done a great job.
Great play.
Fantastic.
Collier, first 2.
Palmer set that one up. She looked her off. She used the screen well and helped Collier get open. And Collier then kept it high and didn't allow smaller defenders to disrupt her.
Once again, a good look for Ejiofor, can't finish. Now Texas, who had trailed at 7 at the end of the first quarter, down by 3. Follow-up, good job by Collier. She'll draw the foul. Texas now, successive possessions. Nice 2-man game.
There's a lot to get excited about for the last 2 possessions. The hesitation right there, that's what allowed Charlie Collier to turn and rotate, catch the ball high on the assist from Isabel Palmer. And then the second possession, which we won't highlight because we're going to the free throw line. But finally, you're starting to see Texas get out in transition. Celeste Taylor attacks the paint, finds her big, or excuse me, Charlie gets the offensive rebound and earns a trip to the free throw line.
Collier's 3rd point, and Coach Karen Aston's team now draws to within 2. Collier's an excellent foul shooter, 83% on the season. And Texas now has begun to warm it up.
Offensively, we got to see if they can keep it going defensively.
Clean look, and Gondrzik knocks it in. That's her 33rd 3 to lead West Virginia of the season. She's got 9 of the Mountaineers' 20.
The saying goes, hand down, man down. But if man down twice, would you say it together?
Turnover against the Longhorns, pass a little bit too wide, and as you said, Gondrzik left alone, and she took advantage.
Isabel Palmer is going to slip here, trying to get around this screen. She was trying to draw a call. Baby girl, you got to get up when you got a shooter like that in front of you.
So how'd you say that, man down?
It's supposed to be hand down, man down, right? But in this instance, it was a whole man on the ground or woman down.
That was in the literal sense. And Tynice Martin's pass to Gondrzik, and West Virginia gives it away. Mountaineers now have turned it over 7 times. Texas began the game missing 5 of its first 7 shots. They've made 5 of their last 9. It's a 4-point game.
Certainly a good sign, but I would argue those last 5 shots largely have been inside the paint.
Texas working the offensive glass, but it's West Virginia on the run.
You got to stop ball here. Celeste Taylor does a good job of getting in front of Gondrzak. Coach Koyer talked about Texas's willingness to gamble on the defensive end and how his group needed to make them pay for that decision.
Nice inside work. Rochelle Norris, her first bucket, the red-shirted freshman out of Stafford, Virginia. 6-point Mountaineer lead.
That was great vision by Kari Nyblack to find Morris. Ooh.
Smith's got Tynice Martin off to her right. Instead goes over to Gondrzak. Long 3, not this time.
Oh, man.
Mike Carey, closest recipient of that pass.
Oh, man, Tony. All right. Oh, that old man is not all good, but this I liked a lot of. Kari Nyblack, dangerous pass, but she gets it high enough over Charlie Collier. Rochelle Norris absorbs the contact and finish.
This is Tynice Martin. You've got to wonder at some point if they get her going off balance. She almost got it to go. She's going to get a couple of free throws here at 5:39, and why not, right? She is the absolute premier scorer for this West Virginia team, and you've got to sometimes make sure you're getting enough shots for her.
Indeed, you want her to stay involved. But, you know, we're talking to Coach Koyer after shooting around, Tony, and he's like, you know, I've got lots of depth. It hasn't been that way the past 2 seasons. And I said, Coach, pretty much an embarrassment of riches? He's like, honestly, yes.
This is not the person you want to put at the free throw line. She leads the Big 12 at 90%.
I love it. Would you leave money on the street in front of you, Tony? That is what I compare free throws to.
An odd, rare miss. And the Mountaineer lead at 7. West Virginia led by 7 at the end of the first quarter. Longhorns have now gone into a cool spell. They've missed their last 5 shots. Taylor playing very aggressive. Her 4th point.
She has not come off of the floor so far in this basketball game, but she's been probably the most consistent in terms of putting pressure on this West Virginia Mountaineer defense. We've had a couple of those. Celeste Taylor, she's a freshman, but she's got tremendous upside. She does a great job of surveying the floor, attacking the paint and traffic, and she finishes. Texas is trying to close the gap.
Welcome back inside the West Virginia University Coliseum. The Mountaineers on top by 5 over Texas. Last January, these two teams got together in Austin, and that young lady, Tynice Martin, led West Virginia to a victory over then nationally ranked Longhorn. She hit for 27.
She was having a tremendous game, scoring at all 3 levels in transition in the half-court set. You know how they talk about being in the zone, Tony? Like, that was her zone game.
She was zoned in, and so far this afternoon, Tynice has 5. Along with her teammate, Koyer Gondrzak. They've combined for 14 of West Virginia's 23 points. Longhorns in a cool spell here. You see their shooting totals, 8 of 22 for the game. They've missed 6 of their last 7 from the floor.
That is not sustainable, as we see that they're at a deficit at this point in the basketball game, but they have not gone to their bigs. Taylor that time trying to find Koyer, who was doing a good job of working in that paint.
Madison Smith, the sophomore guard. Monica, I thought she's done a nice job so far running the point for West Virginia.
Yeah, when she's at the point and you could put Gondrzak and Martin on the wings, oh man. Because then they don't have the responsibility of handling the basketball, and you have to respect both of their abilities to shoot, especially Gondrzak from deep.
Tynice Martin lets it fly. They'll check that at the table on the next stoppage of play as to whether or not it is a 2 or a 3. They scored as a 2 right now.
Do you believe in the positive announcer touch? Did I talk that up, Tony?
Trust me, she's good enough without me saying anything at all. Taylor continues her aggressive play. She really has been the Longhorn that has gone to work here for Texas in this opening half.
Yeah, Taylor plays above her years, but that time wasn't much that she could do with the solid screen set by Kari Niblack. And then one dribble right into her rhythm. Elevation, it's so smooth from Tynice Martin.
Looks like she was behind the line.
It did look like she was behind the line. Yep.
7-point advantage for West Virginia. And that equals West Virginia's biggest lead.
A little bit of a dud up there on the rim from Taylor, but as long as it bounces back in.
Taylor earlier this season, last month, named Big 12 Freshman of the Week, settles for 1 of 2. Coming to you from the West Virginia University Coliseum, Sunday afternoon basketball. Tony Caridi along with Monica McNutt, a matchup of 2 talented Big 12 teams. West Virginia ranked number 19 in the nation. Texas playing its best basketball of the season. Tynice Martin with the shot clock down to 2. Got another one. Here she goes.
If you're Celeste Taylor, I don't know what you do with that one. She was right there. I mean, that's the best defense she could have played in that situation.
Good defense there by Ejiofor off the miss from Koyer.
I don't mind that attack by Koyer. I like it, but she's got to slow down the actual movement. She kind of just flung the hook shot up there.
Entry pass for Ejiofor broken up. Now the Longhorns have the advantage. Sutton can't hold it. And West Virginia now with a chance to build on its largest lead of the game. Tynice Martin starting to get it going. We just pointed out a year ago she hit for 27. She's up to 9.
Tony, I'm watching these highlights and I'm supposed to be explaining to you folks at home what's happening, but all I can do is shake my head because Texas, on those 2 shots in particular, is doing a great job of defending. But when you are that talented and you have worked that hard, it's like the Gladwell book, right? The 9,000 hours or whatever the number is.
9, 10,000, whatever it takes.
There you go. It starts to pay off, and that's what we're seeing this year for this young woman. Not that she didn't have a great year, but it's good to see her take an additional step.
Great look inside. Rochelle Norris. And West Virginia's got a double-digit lead for the first time.
That pass by Gondrzak is not to be overlooked. Wow.
Joanne Allen Taylor comes right back and answer. Now transition. Gondrzak, she's comfortable from there.
So back in my day, Tony, the West Virginia was still a Big East operation, so we used to come here, and I lived for 3s in transition. If Koyer Gondrzak had hit that shot, I would have gotten so excited. Not very many second chance opportunities for the Longhorns. I mean, honestly, as cold as they've been, you've got to wonder if that becomes their best offensive opportunity, just to crash the glass and try to get fouls or some layups.
Great play defensively. LaShawn Higgs. They're going to wave it off, call it a travel violation. Turnover is a huge storyline for Texas. That's the 12th turnover of this opening half.
That pass from Koyer Gondrzak inside to Rochelle Norris on the money to your big. And then Joanne Allen-Taylor attempting to answer for the Longhorns, absorbs the contact, but the basket is good.
Good offensive half for West Virginia. The Mountaineers shooting 48% from the field.
You know, it's really going to be gut check time for the Longhorns.
Pull up from Gondrzak. She's into double figures, and West Virginia takes the 10-point lead.
She and Martin, I mean, goodness, they are just so tough to defend.
Koyer. That was the intent, Monica, I think we thought we would get from Texas all afternoon long, of getting that ball inside the paint to both Holmes and Koyer. Koyer now with her 6th point.
There's two things that has to happen for Texas. One, you're going to have to slow this West Virginia squad on the defensive end, as LaShawn Higgs does a good job of locking and trailing Koyer Gondrzak and picks up the foul call, I believe, on Norris for an illegal screen.
Yep, you're correct. Waves off the bucket. Norris picks up the foul. That'll be her first.
So here's the flip side of this. While this lead is at 9, with less than a minute to go into the second quarter, you score here. You got a shot at a 2-for-1 if you can defend. You got to chip into this deficit. For as cold as they've been, honestly, it could be far worse if you're the Longhorns.
Once again, they go inside. Nice work by Koyer, but that lid on the bucket for Texas. That's been the storyline of this opening half. Got a great look there. Now West Virginia up 8, can hold for the last one.
Get a defensive stop if you're the Longhorns. Allow that momentum, hopefully, to take you into halftime.
Well, if you're West Virginia, the only thing you want to accomplish here is make sure Texas does not get another shot. Bucket, score it. KK Deans got bumped, banged, and earns the bucket the hard way.
I cannot wait for this replay, folks. The basketball is such a thing of beauty, but the nuances, we're getting it in slow motion. Whoop, there's one hesitation, Tony. Then there's a slight explosion there off that power bounce, absorbing the contact, and the and one. We're going to the free throw line, baby.
Deans, a freshman out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Texas now has an opportunity.
Tony, I can't thank you enough. You are a true professional. I know the people of West Virginia absolutely love you, and now I know why. Well, thank you, my man.
Enjoy it. We appreciate it. It's good to have it. Trust me, I've been in it long enough. I know this kind of stuff happens. All right, 34-23. We invite you to sit in. Monica and Ron will take you the rest of the way. Tynice, Martin, and the Mountaineers getting ready to go work here over the Longhorns of Texas.
Thanks again, Tony. We got lots of basketball to get back to. Texas trying to close the gap, Ron. You know this squad well. And you and I had the opportunity to take in that Iowa State basketball game. And unfortunately, they have already turned the ball over in this basketball game far more than they did then. And they have not been as efficient in the paint so far, Ron.
Well, and you know, one of the things that Texas had going for them in that Iowa State game that you and I saw up at Ames, Iowa, was the third quarter. Coming into the third quarter, Karen Aston was telling us how much they struggled, but they shot 62% in that third quarter and just dominated Iowa State. Let's see how they respond in this third quarter.
Yeah, and it's not about momentum carrying over in this third quarter.
Am I doing the play-by-play, guys?
Turn it over.
Here is Tynice Martin. Martin with a pull-up for 3, just off the front of the iron. Shook Sutton comes out of the pack. Looks for Underwood on the right side. Sutton, a little hesitation. Nice dish. Nope, it's going to be a blocking foul, says Roy Gilbayan. And one more time, a look.
This is the north-south movement that they have to find, though, Ron, in this game. Suge Sutton attacking the paint, looking for the diving Koyer.
Beautiful inbounds play inside to Celeste Taylor, the outstanding freshman who's going to be a great player in the Big 12. Something Karen Aston works a lot on is inbounds plays underneath.
Taylor, quite honestly, has been the bright spot consistently, at least through the first half of this basketball game, maintaining her aggression and putting pressure on the Mountaineers defense.
Shot way off to the right side by Ejiofor. And the foul's going to be on Koyer.
Execution on the inbounds. Jada Underwood connecting with the freshman, Celeste Taylor. It's a quick score.
Now, Karen Aston making a substitution. Audrey Warren will check into the lineup. The sophomore out of Fort Worth, Texas. Kind of one of those positionless players. And they are glad to have her back. And that's the third foul, by the way, on Koyer. Ejiofor only 3 of 6 from the free throw line coming into this game. Started the last 4 games. Talking to Mike Carrier earlier this week, talking about just how athletic she is, but he wants her to be a little more physical.
She's got a little bit more of that long, lean body type. I understand, you know, being physical is a commitment when you're not necessarily one of those kids that can play bully ball naturally.
Here is Suge Sutton, senior out of St. Louis, Missouri, who waited her turn to take over this point guard spot. Taylor with a left hand, and she is going to be fouled on the play. Texas, though, obviously coming out, Monica, very aggressive here in the third quarter.
I can only imagine what the halftime conversation was.
Oh, yeah.
It was, you guys are playing East and West. You have not put pressure on this Mountaineers defense outside of Taylor, who continues to do what she did in the first half. I understand the Mountaineers take a lot of pride in their defense. I understand their numbers. However, you cannot go into a basketball game and assume that something is going to be taken away until it is truly taken away. I'd like to see Suge Sutton attack the way that we've seen her in the past. Jada Underwood can get in the paint. And who's on the floor right now? Collier's on the bench, but Holmes needs to post up and get the ball inside.
Holmes has been playing more outside. We saw her against Iowa State again, keep bringing that up, but she was not afraid to lead the break. And talking to some WNBA scouts over the last 3 days, they said they like the fact that she's showing that, but she's still that big and has to play inside.
You've got to play to your strengths. In this basketball game, Joyner Holmes has taken 2 threes, and they have been hard off the iron and nothing at all. So let's get back to your bed.
Exactly. Of course, Jordan Holmes comes in. Only 5 of 18 from beyond the arc coming into this game. Here's Madison Smith out of Greenville, the scoring point, all Big 12 freshman team. Mike Carey saying she's doing a great job defensively. Tynice, and that is just a good play by Tynice. She knows just how aggressive Audrey Warren is and use that to her advantage.
Yeah, that's a tough play to call. Tynice Martin is so good off of screens, and this time Audrey Warren is attempting to high head, but she almost rises up out of her defensive stance too soon and gets called for the block.
Smith now being guarded by Underwood. Warren shows the double. Good ball movement. Gondrzak with 4 to shoot. Gondrzak lets it fly over Taylor, clips the rim. And here comes Sutton on the break. West Virginia leading by 8.
Great ball fake by Audrey Warren.
Warren inside left hand, can't get it. Good defense by the Mountaineers. Madison Smith can't get it. Joyner Holmes, and here's what we talked about, leading the break. Tried to thread the needle inside to Taylor. Smith breaks the defense down. Offensive rebound, put back, counted.
Rochelle Norris was one of the kids that Coach Carey said needed to play big to match up with Joyner Holmes.
Now the last 3 games, she had only 6 points, only 1 of 5 shooting. Lead stretched to 10. Sutton has it rejected right back at her by Nyblack.
There's so much one-on-one basketball happening for this Texas team, and West Virginia has been very stout in their half-court defense. You've got to swing the ball to shift that defense.
And a whistle and a foul that should be on Warren. Let's go back a couple of plays ago.
So Kaiser Gondrzak does a great job of keeping her head up and locating Celeste Taylor in transition. She attacks. Joyner Holmes, turnover, mistake response is to get in with the black shot, but then Rochelle Norris gets in and gets the putback. And then Kari Nyblack, Shook said, you don't have enough height to do that in front of me, baby. That's what she said.
And a whistle. That's a 5-second call. Good job defensively by the Longhorns. Boy, that drives Mike Carey nuts. 12 turnovers now for West Virginia in this game. West Virginia comes in averaging just about 15.5 turnovers. Here come the Longhorns. Texas is at its best when it finds its rhythm, and as you talked about the assist, that's what really gets them going.
And a lot of that comes in transition, and they have not been able to get out and be successful consistently today.
Taylor gets popped out of the pack, Gondrzak, and she will wisely back it out. Nyblack, no. Rebound, put back, got it.
She is having a day on the offensive glass. That time she gets an opportunity to clean up her own rebound. 6.5
minutes to play here in the quarter. Texas finds themselves down by a dozen. Taylor, no. Offensive rebound. Holmes, point blank, can't get it.
That's been the kind of day that Joyner Holmes is having.
Boy, that's tough. If you're Joyner Holmes, you've got to knock that shot down. Great position inside. Texas trying to get a little defense going. Whistle and a foul is going to be called. And Mike Carey telling her to go up strong.
Kari Nyblack misses this shot. No matter, I'm the first to follow my own shot. A little pump fake, get your big and your potential shot blocker up in the air, and she's able to finish.
Texas 0 for their last 5 shooting. Their scoring drought now closing in on 3 minutes. And Audrey Warren's going to come back into the lineup for Texas. Joanne Allen Taylor also checks in. Taylor goes out, Underwood goes out.
An earned rest for Celeste Taylor, who didn't come off the floor in the first half. West Virginia, Ron, is already in the bonus.
Wow. And you know, you've got 6:06, and that is, you're just giving points away, and you're just padding your lead during that time.
Yeah, this is a dangerous window here if you're the Longhorns, because things could quickly snowball out of control.
Well, LaShawn Higgs in the lineup for Texas, and what an impact she is having after sitting out most of last year. Whistle and a foul called underneath. But Higgs really showed her old self in that Iowa State game.
We've seen it in spots today as well. Not been able to do it consistently.
And now Holmes trying to get position inside, sets the pick, opens up, Higgs drops the deuce.
Great execution. Great execution on the inbounds play. If you look over at the Longhorns bench, who other than Celeste Taylor is up trying to cheer her teammates on after that basket.
Last 4 games, Higgs shooting 51%, averaging almost 13 a game. Norris walked with it, will go the other way.
She's got that quizzical shoulder shrug look, but you can't turn and spin quite like that without moving your feet, without dribbling the basketball.
And you and I have talked about that. Any big that makes a quick move now probably is going to be called for the foul. Higgs up to Sutton. Warren trying to post on the right block. They leave Higgs open for the 3. Offensive rebound out of the pack by Allen Taylor.
Great hustle there to give her team a second chance opportunity.
I like when Shug Sutton and Higgs are on the floor at the same time. Thought she was going to take the 3. That prayer, and it's answered. Count the basket.
Will we remember this moment with 4:59 to go? LaShawn Higgs, an upperclassman trying to get her team going. Spin move, up and under, contact basket. Can Texas close this 9-point gap? Thank you. Who gave me this? Thank you, thank you.
All right, fans, it's time for the Mountaineer Free Throw Challenge.
It's about the bigs.
He has 30 seconds to make more free throws. The challenger on the video board. Jackson, let's find out who the challenger is. It's going to be Koyer. Jackson, you're going against Koyer. Are you ready? Okay, get ready.
Yes, I do.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go, Jackson. All right, first one's a little off. It's okay. Koyer's got one right now. So close.
Right.
Jackson goes off the back line.
What?
Right. Yeah, we talked about that on Thursday and Friday, Mike.
Hey, Mike, what did the Texas bigs have combined?
Texas bigs.
The two, Koyer and Holmes. Yes.
6 and 10 points total.
10 points total? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for Jackson.
It might, the way they playing. Thank you.
Joel, thanks for responding last night. I didn't know who to call. I was like going crazy. But I kept my cool. Picked a bad time. You got to be old to understand that joke. Thank you. It is, isn't it? I know. Yeah. I saw what they shot. Yeah. West Virginia 17 in the first, 17 in the second. Texas outscoring them in the third. The key for West Virginia, and head coach Mike Carey was talking about this, their bigs had to match up with Texas's bigs.
Well, so far, not only have they matched, but they've outplayed his bigs. As you see there, the three of them have 12. Koyer and Holmes for Texas only have 10 points. And it's far more than just the points, though, Rana. I think the trio that you just saw for West Virginia, particularly Nyblack, have had a great game, both offensively, defensively, and in what we would consider hustle points.
Oh, Hicks gets the three-point play, and Mike Carey telling us that one of the things they had to be is active in the paint. They had to control it. They wanted to try to go backdoor a lot on Texas the way Stanford did. Nyblack pull up a little strong on the jumper, gets it back, whistle and a foul, and that's going to be Joanne Allen-Taylor.
Allen-Taylor is such a spark to me. I love the commitment that she comes to the floor and plays with. Kari Nyblack, we just love this. Following her shot. She's got such a great knack for going after the basketball. She's a kid that has to be blocked out.
Exactly.
While we celebrate what she does on the offensive end, if you're Texas, you've got to turn and block her.
We saw her last year. She misses the free throw, only 53% coming into the game. We saw her last year just be almost over-aggressive at times. But Mike Carey telling us, because I'd rather have him be that than have to try to spur him on to try to become more aggressive.
It's true.
Boy, that hurts. You get them. Don't get either one. Texas outscoring West Virginia by 3 here in the third quarter, but they still trail by 8. From the outside, whistle and a foul. Warren getting tangled up, and Nyblack with a grimace on her face. And Mike Carey already walking out on the court.
That was an awkward fall.
Oh, it was.
Audrey Warren blocking out. I mean, in theory, there was nothing dirty about it as a basketball play.
You know, Mike Carey has had to deal with so many injuries the last 2 years. And I was kidding him the other day. I said, you know, this is probably the first time you actually have enough players to practice with. And he goes, knock on wood. And we just hope that Nyblack is going to be okay, the sophomore out of Leesburg, Florida. But there was one game this year that he actually substituted 5 people at once.
Line change.
It was a hockey game. I haven't seen Mike do that in years.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we'd come here and the managers and the student managers, they'd all be practicing. And here is Nyblack getting up very gingerly.
I can't tell It seems like a lower extremity thing, but I couldn't really tell by the way she fell. Good to see her walking off under her own power.
Now she had 10 points and 5 rebounds in that upset in Austin over Texas last year. Here it is again.
Oh,
yeah.
High break. Oh, a high break. Oh, I
That's
don't.
what it looks like.
Oh,
That's
that
what it
knee.
looks like.
Oh man.
Now she's going to head directly to the locker room. They're going to take a look at her. If we get any information, we obviously will pass it on to you. Look at it one more time. It's just the officials are going to look at it, but that I think it's a basketball play.
I would agree with you there. Audrey Warren plays tough. She's not one, does not have the reputation for being malicious.
They just want to make sure there was nothing after the fact. It was just a common foul, and we appreciate Meta and Brian and Roy Gilbane, the officials tonight, for coming over and talking to us. But we'll go down the other end and we'll shoot free throws. Here is KK Deans.
She's someone that I'm super excited about watching her continue to grow as a Mountaineer. Hasn't had to have a big game today. Gondrzak and Martin have really led the charge.
Now she is one of those players that can be physical. She can score. Sometimes Mike Carey says, I've got to tell her to calm down a little bit. She's kind of was like Nyblack last season. And here is Higgs. Splits the defense, floats off the glass. And it'll still be Texas's basketball with 4:23 to play here in the third. Texas only shooting 34% in this game.
And it's funny, Ron, is let's find the appropriate adjective. For as much as they struggled to score, it's only a 10-point game.
Exactly. A whistle and a foul inside. And that's going to be a Tynice Martin. That'll be her second personal foul. And LaShawn Higgs will go to the line, the senior out of Round Rock, Texas. Of course, played only 4 games in 2019 because of that ACL tear at the time. Was averaging almost 14 a contest. And the bench saw her go for 17 points, 3 assists, 2 steals in Iowa State. And talking to the coaching staff after the game, they said she is the difference in that contest.
She had a great game. Big time rebound.
There's another offensive rebound and the 3 by Joanne Allen Taylor.
That's the energy that she brings. You can't quite quantify it in her stats, but when Joanne Allen Taylor comes on the floor, you know she's going to defend and she's going to give the energy necessary to hit timely baskets like that one.
Well, career high points, field goals, and field goal percentage. Madison Smith out front. Tynice hasn't really taken a shot in a long time. Doesn't get that one to go. And out of the pack, Isabel Palmer out of Australia. Nice pass inside. Beautiful dish.
Good passing by Texas. Ron, I don't know if it's you showing up at halftime or what. Like, we haven't seen this out of Texas yet today.
Well, West Virginia now no field goals for 3 minutes, and Texas comes up with a little press. They're on a 6-0 run, cutting the lead down to 4. And Mike Carey doesn't like what he sees. He's going to call a timeout. 3:25 to play in the third quarter. Longhorns on a run, trailing by 4. Texas trailing. Number 19, West Virginia, 42-38. Both teams played ranked teams this year. Both teams have a couple of wins. And for Karen Aston, after losing North Carolina State, convincingly beat Stanford, and then took care of the #1 team in the country, or beat Tennessee, then came back and beat Stanford, and those were big wins. And the same thing can be said for Mike Carey. They lose to Creighton, but somehow that turned a switch on this basketball team, and they come back and they beat a very good Mississippi State team and a good Michigan State team.
Sometimes things fall apart so that they can come together.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunday Proverbs.
You know, I think the ladies on both teams realize they can't lose games like that. Going on the inside, edge of 4, the junior out of Nigeria via Vandy. And Sutton out front. Inside of 3 minutes to play in the third. Palmer. Oh, nice move in the Aussie.
The hesitation, yes. Ron, the hesitation. Basketball, the nuances, change of speed, change of direction. The little bit of hesitation put the defense off so that Isabel Palmer could finish that.
Yeah, I like how Sutton quickly got a hand in Tynice Martin's face. Joanne Allen Taylor. Celeste Taylor, the freshman, immensely talented out of Valley Stream, New York. Karen Aston saying, got to start moving it. Allen Taylor's pull up. Little scrum. Texas trying to get that 50-50 ball. Possession arrow will belong to Texas. How to be a big in 2 easy lessons.
Lesson number 1, understand spacing. When you set the screen, slip, keep your eye or your head on the swivel, eyes looking at the basketball, know where you are on the floor to finish. And then, well, this isn't a big, but that's okay. The ever so slight hesitation back over her right shoulder helped Palmer finish with the left.
I tell you, Palmer adds a little element to this team.
Definitely. I love what she brings off the bench, as does Audrey Warren.
Not afraid to shoot, Isabel Palmer, and here she is out of Australia. Oh, nice hesitation move, pump fake. Too many blue jerseys around her, and it'll belong to West Virginia. That's the kind of defense Mike Carey preaches every day in practice.
Esmery Martinez did a great job of staying with Palmer and not going for the shot fake.
One of the toughest schedules in the country for Texas. West Virginia, also a very difficult schedule. West Virginia, 6 newcomers on the team. 5 of the 6 are in their first season. From the outside, Tynice, and she goes down after the 3.
Our producer, I really wish we had producer audio every now and again. Our producer pointed out the bank is open again for Tynice Martin.
And then a foul on the ensuing play. Here it is again. Tynice can score from everywhere.
Everywhere. And when she's gotten going today, she's scored in bunches. You really are just kind of left shaking your head because the Texas defenders are doing all they can to slow her.
Lucky Rudd will come into the lineup for West Virginia, a player that Mike Carey is trying to find more minutes for. She only has 2 points in the last 4 games, only has taken 3 shots. Both coaches freely substituting now. Underwood back into the lineup as Joanne Allen Taylor steps to the line.
If you're Texas, though, you've got to key in on who's not on the floor right now. There's no Kaiser Gondrajek or Tynice Martin.
I think Joanne Allen Taylor is the only player that I've been able to cover in my career that wants to design cars.
Oh.
That's the major.
Okay.
I like it.
I hope they're affordable cars, not Teslas.
I would doubt it. I would doubt it. And a little pressure put on by Texas as they've closed the gap to 6. Trying to go down low. A lot of grabbing underneath. Taken away out of the pack by Celeste Taylor.
Jada Underwood set that up, and Celeste Taylor came in and cleaned up, but couldn't finish in transition.
And that is going to be last touched by Texas. West Virginia's basketball, but boy, Celeste Taylor just exploded out of that pack with the ball.
And you know, she has great speed, quickness of her feet, but I'd like to see her, and this may come with time as she continues to grow in her career, Suge Sutton with the deflection.
And that's going to be a whistle and a foul. And that'll be against West Virginia.
Taylor's
That'll be Martinez. And you can see, obviously, limping noticeably, Blessing Ejiofor. So that's 2 players that have gone down for West Virginia in this game. Just what you don't want is you're getting into the meat of the schedule.
It's true. Hopefully she can walk that one off.
But West Virginia now with 15 turnovers in the game. That is their season average. Shug Sutton only 4 points in the ball game. He's only taken 5 shots. Can't get the free throw to go down. Underwood knocks it away, and it's off the hands of West Virginia's Martinez. And once again, you can see Ejiofor just trying to make sure that ankle's okay. I think they're just going to retape it. Inside of 50 seconds now to play in the quarter. Sutton gets a little step on the defense, jump stop, foul.
Well, Ron, I will say this. We have not seen a signature Shug Sutton performance as far as the course of this basketball game. But if she can get herself going by getting to the free throw line, you have an opportunity to cut the deficit. The clock is not ticking. You got to make them, though.
Foul was on Rochelle Norris. That was her 2nd personal foul. And they continue to work on the ankle of Blessing Ejiofor. Don't forget, we will have West Virginia and the Lady Bears of Baylor coming up on Saturday night here on Fox. That is always an incredible battle. 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time.
That's going to be a great game. Baylor knocking off the most recent #1 on Thursday night in UConn.
What a crazy week in women's college basketball. When you look at Oregon losing, you look at, obviously, UConn losing.
NC State, one of the undefeated, went down this week.
Just a nuts week. Sutton's pull-up jumper buries it, and that's what she does best.
Now your senior is starting to wake up. She got to the free throw line. Now she's starting to see the ball go in the basket.
She had 19 at West Virginia last season. Texas now on a 6-0 run, looking to increase that. Alan Taylor just lost the handle. Shug Sutton tried the bounce pass. Trajectory was not good.
LaShawn Higgs that time got a little bit ahead of herself. I honestly would have liked to see her pitch that basketball sooner than she did.
At the buzzer. Oh, does it go? Yes.
This is the visiting team getting some home Coliseum magic. Texas, Ron, closing the gap.
Well, they're going to review it, but West Virginia with 3 turnovers over the last 135. And this could be a 9-0 run for the Longhorns and would give them the advantage. Roy Gilbane's going to look at it. They've officially put it up now. Look at the turnaround by Sutton.
It looked like it was out of her hand, Ron. The red light around the backboard on the other end had not gone off.
Here it is again.
That's out of her hands. That's out of her hands.
Definitely out of her hands.
What a time to come alive for your senior leader. Wow.
Now they're still taking a look at it, but Shug Sutton, we were talking about not a like Shug Sutton kind of game, but Shug Sutton now is already checking in with 11. She had 19 at West Virginia last year, averaged 16 versus the Mountaineers. It's a 2-point play, so the basket was good. And so we have 10 minutes left to be played. Texas on an 8-0 run over the last 127. Texas gets their first lead of the game on this. Watch the clock on the top of your screen on Suge Sutton's turnaround. Foot was inside the 3, but Monica, this is sweet with 3 E's.
4 E's. I'll give it a 4E, a 4th E. First of all, the still, the wherewithal to understand time and score, and that there was enough time on the shot clock to get a shot off. I'm sure Coach Koyer was disappointed with the lackadaisical attitude of West Virginia on that inbound play.
We talked about it early in the third quarter, how Texas came alive in the third quarter versus Iowa State. Outscored them in that game 27-17. They outscored West Virginia 25-13 in that quarter. And they also held West Virginia to just about 29% shooting.
Now, bear in mind, Kaiser Gondrzak, who just took that shot, and Tynice Martin did not play the bulk of that third quarter. And Kari Nyblack returned to the floor. She's got that left leg wrapped, but she's back on the floor.
17 turnovers now for West Virginia. They have a chance to go into that patient offense. Koyer was trying to get position on the right block, and it's going to be a foul called. Nyblack will be whistled for the infraction.
Suge Sutton has 11 points by my count.
Yeah.
What, 4 free throws, and then that last shot, she scored a quick 6 to end the third.
That's 3 on Nyblack. The air ball put up. Texas almost gets it back. Kari Nyblack, who took a big fall in that third quarter, seems to be okay now. Madison Smith will set things up. Career high 15 versus Kansas State. Boy, Sutton is in the back pocket of Gondrzak. They set the pick 4. Oh, and Suge Sutton will touch foul.
That's a tough call.
That is.
Brian Garland calling Suge Sutton. I think you don't get the hot stove touch. I guess that was a full palm
That was
on
a
the
full palm,
stove.
yeah.
that was tough. She's doing her best to move her feet. You got to stay with Gondrzak, rightfully so.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
It kind of
the
hangs.
right hand.
Yep. Stove wasn't hot enough. Oh,
It's
boy.
always right. Up. And the runner is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll set up a 4th down play. That was a pure tackle, wasn't it?
Oh, man.
Somebody call Coach Neal, man. He might like that tackle.
Certainly not intentional.
Not intentional. And
Rashawn Higgins
No.
and Gondrzak get tied up to the benefit of West Virginia.
This is the kind of game that this is where Tynice Martin loves to take over. We saw her do it a couple of times in her career versus Texas. Here she is. Buries it.
Can't
On cue.
lose sight of her running across that baseline, coming off those screens.
Now Sutton works off the pick. That little hesitation. Koyer was trying to block off everybody for her. Koyer had it, lost it. Holmes tries to track it down. I think she stepped out, and that'll be a turnover for the Longhorns, and that'll be number 16 or 15 for them.
Textbook execution here. Tynice Martin coming off that baseline, turn and knock it down. You see Jada Underwood and Joyner Holmes not communicating well. Both of them were too late, though.
I think Charlie Koyer lost her contact. So Celeste Taylor will come into the lineup, and they're going to put the new eyeball back in. And Kari Nyblack thinks she sees it. She's calling him over.
Oh, that's Kari Nyblack. Oh, we love it.
I think that's an assist.
A little bit.
Yeah, Kari gets an assist on that.
That was kind of her, because
Very
there was
kind
a
of her.
time in some rivalries where that contact would have been stepped on.
Yeah, exactly. Is this yours? Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. West Virginia back on top, and this time it's Gondrzak.
Beautiful high arcing shot. West Virginia is executing to a T, finding those shooters.
3 of the last 4 games, Gondrzak has had 20 points. She's got 14 this afternoon. And that's off the foot of West Virginia. Let's take a look. Kaiser Gondrzak.
The work is done before she comes off. You see Celeste Taylor get hung up on the screen by Ejiofor. Shooter comes out, ready to knock it down. Beautiful backspin, high release.
Well, she's got some pedigree. Her dad, Grant, obviously played in the NBA. Her mom, Lisa, won a title at Louisiana Tech.
Did she play with Kim Mulkey then, or?
Yeah, I think she was.
Okay.
They had great teams back then, that Louisiana Tech. Foul was on Nyblack. That is her 4th, and that's big. That was her problem last year, and Texas takes advantage of it.
That is the most assertive I have seen Joyner Holmes be this entire basketball game. Well, her second basket in transition, actually.
Holmes now with 8 in the ball game to go along with 5 rebounds. Nyblack shot rebounded by Sutton. Texas with a chance to tie or take the lead. Nice pass inside. Oh, can't get it to go down. Underwood. And Shug Sutton standing at midcourt, jumping up and down. She knew what kind of pass that was. We do have a foul. Nyblack's going to have to go out for West Virginia. Martinez will come back in.
This is speed. We love speed, but speed also can kill. Love that Texas got out in transition to find Jada Underwood, but she didn't take the beat she needed to follow up and knock down that shot.
And and then Texas just hit a 3.
Shug Sutton.
And then they go back out in front, seesawing here in the 4th. Both teams have scored 5.
I tell you, this is a new basketball game. We got some Ron Thulin magic happening.
They saved the best. That'll be the 18th turnover against West Virginia coming off the screen. Here's how she did it.
Inbounds execution. West Virginia was just straight up sleep on that one.
Yeah.
How do you let your point guard, your scorer, get that loose on an inbounds play?
Inbounds plays are so important in this league, especially because we have so many teams that run them so well. Alan Taylor. Shug. Holmes was trying to post. She likes a little spin move. Nope. Now she walked with it. And Texas coughs it up. 16 turnovers coming off a game where they had only 6 against Iowa State and 1 through 3 quarters. Holmes is going to go out. And Charlie Collier's got the contact back in. She'll come in. This is what Karen will do. Take Joyner Holmes out for a little bit. Give her a breather. Bring her back for the final 4.5. And that's just an unforced error by Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez looking for Tynice Martin to go back door, and instead Martin, understanding the defense was playing for that, so was trying to set up to come back around.
Is to score. Texas and West Virginia, always a great matchup between these two teams. West Virginia obviously coming in riding an 8-game win streak. And Shug Sutton has really exploded. She had the shot at the buzzer to end the third at a big 3 a moment ago, and she's one of those difference makers.
100%. When she starts playing downhill basketball, that's a good sign for Texas. That's exactly what we pointed out in the open. That's what we've seen so far today. The way she ended that third quarter, 6 points, including that bank shot, and then this shot off the inbound. She was poised. She snuck behind the defense before they were alert and aware. If Texas is going to come back and pull off this road victory, it will be because of the performance of Shug Sutton.
Absolutely. Karen Aston won her 275th game last week. Trying to add to that today. Another break. We'll be back. West Virginia has led for 30 minutes and 53 seconds. Texas has only led for 2:14, but they do have the advantage now by 1. with 6:31 to play in the ball game. Along with Monica McNutt, I'm Ron Thulin. Good to have you with us this afternoon. Big 12 play really heating up, and this is a great time of the year.
You're talking about times of year. I'm talking about the time of game, Ron. You mentioned it. The third quarter being something that has been crucial to this Longhorn squad through the course of the season. When we talked with Coach Aston, she talked about the drought. But honestly, it was almost a new team out here on the floor in the third quarter, playing with much more intensity, being deliberate about scoring in the paint, and putting pressure on this West Virginia defense.
Well, Texas comes in with one of the toughest schedules. Combined opponents' winning percentage is number 6 in the NCAA out of 351 D1 teams, and Karen Aston telling us that helps them. That toughens them up. Their record may not show it, but they get something out of those. Shug Sutton, oh, a nice pump fake, has to give it up. Koyer buries the 3.
Coach Mike Carey told me that they would allow both Koyer and Holmes to have the pick and pop and to see if they were going to hit shots. Now, should they start hitting, that definitely changes the plan.
Nice pressure by Texas, takes 9 seconds off the shot clock, and that is big. Gondrzak now being guarded by Joanne Allen Taylor. Shot clock at 2. Smith better realize it. Nicks the front of the rim. Koyer comes up with it. I'm not sure she knew how much time was on the shot clock, and that is your job as a point guard.
Absolutely. Credit the intensity picking up by the Longhorns defending in the half-court set.
Celeste Taylor gets a little bit of a step, takes the shot, doesn't get it. Taylor now 3 of 10 shooting for Texas, but does have 9 points. Martin, wide open look, can't cash in.
Oh, Joyner Holmes. She has awakened, folks. Snatching down rebounds, scoring.
I'll tell you, she has an enormous amount of ability. She will be a high draft pick on the next level.
She's got great size. I would hope as through the rest of this season, as an upperclassman, she would begin to put it together a little bit more consistently.
Sutton initiates the contact. Holmes tries to finish, can't do it. And here comes Madison Smith in West Virginia, trailing by 4. Scoring drought, 3:20 now for the Mountaineers.
Tough assignment, yeah.
Oh, man, that's real tough. Tynice can't get it to go. Rebound pulled away by Charlie Koyer, and Texas looks to add on their 8-0 run. How about the 3 just a moment ago by the Longhorns?
Big time shooting coming on in the second half of this basketball game. Charlie Collier got that same shot in the first quarter and could not hit. A little later, a little slower, a little bit more confidence. This time it goes down.
Well, that was a turnover, but then Taylor returns the favor. It's a 3-on-2 if she hurries. And she wisely will get it into the hands of Shug Sutton. Sutton straight up, uses that right hand to get Smith out of the way. Shot clock inside of 10. Taylor, nice move inside, took her eyes off the basket. Collier had it, Taylor saved it. Sutton will back it up, but the shot clock will go off.
Great
hustle by her. Yeah, you gotta be alert.
So much to love about that possession. One, the intensity, then the poise of Celeste Taylor. I love her game. We're so excited to see how she continues to grow over the course of her career, but she's got to figure out a way to slow down just a hair when she gets to the rim. She does a great job of getting there, but finishing has been a little bit spotty for her today.
18 turnovers in the ball game now for the Longhorns. They've got their starters back in, along with LaShawn Higgs. This is a great defensive team for Texas. Nyblack. Gondrzak, 14 points in the game. 0 for their last 4. Gondrzak draws the contact and the foul. Sutton just reached in. That is why Gondrzak's such a great player. You're able to do that and get to the line.
Both Gondrzak and Martin, but Gondrzak in particular, she does a great job of changing up her speed in the course of a basketball game. She'll sort of lull you to sleep, dribbling sort of side to side, and then burst into her move with some speed. On the other end, Tynice Martin, she just kind of hits you with the speed and the elevation, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Saw Mike Carey 7 wins away from 700 for his career.
He was honored pregame for his 400th win.
And he should have. I mean, he is just done an incredible job. And talking to some of the staff, Mike understands, like Bob Huggins does, shot clock problem, Roy Gilbane says, but he understands West Virginia because he's obviously from here. And Mike understands what makes this a great state. And Hugs does the same thing on the men's side.
I am a visitor, and so I'm going to say that all the good folks of West Virginia have treated me well, but I would not swap my good DMV life.
There's the numbers on Coach Carey. Karen Aston on the other side. She's going after win 175 at Texas, and whistle and a foul as Tynice Martin, and Charlie Koyer is not pleased with herself, and I don't think Karen is either. What's the old line? Don't foul a jump shooter?
Never. And here's the thing that makes this particularly frustrating. Charlie Collier checks in at 6'5".
Yeah.
Tynice Martin barely will give you, she's probably listed at 6'1", but you know how media guys go, Ron. They give you an extra inch or so. She doesn't even need to do that.
And she picked up her 4th personal foul now, and you have 3:17 left. As a starter, you've got to be aware of that, and it was a 3-shot foul.
We'll see if Coach Aston leaves her on the floor.
Yeah. Well, that's the train of thought of a lot of coaches. Just go ahead and let them be out there. So Tynice all of a sudden cuts that lead down to 1, and it is loud inside of the Coliseum.
Joanne Allen-Taylor has to be careful of her footwork there. She's dancing with the baseline or the half-court line.
Yeah. Now the foul's going to be on Madison Smith. And Taylor will go to the line, and she will be shooting with 3:07 to play. Texas on their own scoring drought now, 3:05. Well, what I thought it was going to be a shooting. No, it's going to be Texas's ball underneath the basket. Taylor will trigger it. Holmes pops way out front. Karen Aston wisely calls a timeout. 3:07 to play in the ball game. Texas no field goals the last 4:54, but they have, or West Virginia no field goals the last 4:54. Texas with the lead. But Charlie Collier, the last 2 games she's been in single digits, points and rebounds, has only shot 27% in foul trouble this afternoon.
This is what she's done well. Setting screens, keeping the ball high, getting deep into the paint and finishing. And then, of course, she hit the 3-point shot here on the assist of Suge Sutton. What the difference when Charlie Collier is at her best? She takes a beat, she gathers herself, she uses her height and her strength to make smart moves, and she's able to finish.
And here we go. Every turnover important now. Sutton. No. Nyblack fights for the rebound. That's Ricari, and she just gets kicked in the face. And that's going to be foul on Joyner Holmes. Boy, that's the second tough one she's taken today.
Goodness. Kari Nyblack is probably going to be black and blue after this game. But you know, that's the beauty of youth. You get to bounce back,
exactly. Member of the Tough Club.
Oh, man.
Well, Collier and Warren for Texas, both with 4 personal fouls. Nyblack has 4 as we look at it again.
Our producer, Mark Balk, loves when the glass is open. That's a shot that should have been intentionally kissed off the glass. We used to run that back in the day at Georgetown for myself because I love a good jump shot off the glass.
I think the glass is not used
enough. Underrated, Ron.
Underrated.
Oh, my goodness.
Nyblack looked relieved that she made that free throw because she was 0 for her first 4. Great reaction by Kari.
Should she miss this one, I would be willing to bet on her to follow up with her own rebound.
Well, she's only had 4 points in both Big 12 games. Nyblack can't get that. She's got 3. Texas with the board. Inside of 3 to play.
This is the basketball game that we anticipated between 2 teams that have been battle-tested. You talk about the winning percentage of the teams that Texas has played. West Virginia, according to High Post Hoops, 25 in the RPI nationally.
First tie of the ball game. Collier, 9 to shoot. May have dragged the foot. Here comes Sutton with 4. Pull up, pretty shot, buries it.
That's a big-time basket from your senior.
And now Tynice Martin. She's going to hold it up.
Got to communicate defensively if you're Texas, though.
You've got 2 great shooters on this West Virginia team. Gondrzak's one of them, can't get it. Holmes the rebound. Koyer leaks out. Working on Smith, and Madison Smith did a great job of just fouling her, not giving her the easy two.
You know, ironically, I don't think Madison Smith needed to do that. I understand transition. Let's rewind, though. No words. Say less, as the kids say, Ron. Say less. Just give me the basketball in big-time moments.
And that was the third personal foul on Madison Smith, and here is Charlie Koyer at the line. One of 6 in the Big 12 to average a double-double. And Collier's got 10 and 6 so far this afternoon.
Big-time free throws.
Big-time free
The
throws.
sophomores growing up right in front of your eyes.
And Texas really has not been a great free throw shooting team in the 2 Big 12 games. Only 55% from the arc, or from the free throw line. Today, shooting 65%, but it's been good enough. They've taken 20. And so has West Virginia.
I would be curious to break down their free throw shooting in the fourth quarter. When we get another box sheet, I'm going to look at that. Because I tell you, Ron, this has been a different squad in the second half.
Gondrzak, they had a switch. Taylor's got her. Gondrzak almost got it to go down.
Very tough move. Man, great move, though. Gondrzak, that hesitation, change of direction. Celeste Taylor doing her best to stick with her. Upset about that call. She got both hands in there as Gondrzak was getting into that shot, so can't quite do it that way.
No. First foul on Celeste Taylor, and here is, when they said that, I went, no.
Yeah.
Gondrzak comes into the game, solid free throw shooter at 81%. Last 4 games has averaged almost 21 points a contest. She's got 16, and the lead down to 2 with 1:40 to play.
Madison Smith doing a great job of staying with Suge Sutton.
Now Holmes bounces out. Collier trying to get position. Holmes is going to be stripped on the play. That may be on Nyblack.
I am not crazy about that decision by Holmes, although she does get a trip to the free throw line.
Well, that is the 5th, though, Monica, on Kari Nyblack.
I
That's
actually
a big
thought
loss.
that was against Tynice Martin.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
they did change it. They first said it was going to be on Nyblack, but Tynice Martin picks up her 3rd, and here is Joyner Holmes at the line. 17 points in their last game versus Iowa State. That was the most she had since November 29th. And we talked about free throw shooting being important. Underwood comes in, Joyner Holmes goes out. The lead is 3. West Virginia 0 for their last 5 from the floor.
Coach Aston going with the defensive substitution. Jada Underwood can be such a dog defensively.
There's a lot of hand-to-hand combat on the inside. I think they're going to call that on Celeste Taylor.
I actually thought Celeste pushed Suge.
Yes. So Taylor picks up the foul, and that will send Tynice Martin to the line.
The line for West Virginia, Tynice Martin.
Martin, number 1 of the Big 12 in free throw percentage at 90%. Holmes will come back in. Underwood will go out. Little offense-defense switching going on. Tynice Martin, 37 of 41 coming into this game from the stripe, and we whammied her. Martin gets the second. Tynice with 19 in the ball game, but the lead is still 2 for Texas, and they have the basketball.
I tell you what, Ron, I am very impressed with the resiliency that Texas has shown. This is some of the consistency that Coach Aston talks about looking for from her group.
Well, if Collier would have taken that shot, Karen Aston would have yanked her. Holmes in the corner, 3 on the way. Here comes Gondrzak, Sutton to beat. Gondrzak gets hit from behind, and she will go to the line with a chance to tie things up.
Great attack by Gondrzak. Good awareness by Alan Taylor. Obviously, she knew that Gondrzak, who excels in transition, was looking to score. At least in this instance, you foul, but you don't give up the layup.
There's no question that Gondrzak can score on all 3 levels. She's playing with confidence this year. Now with a chance to tie things up.
Wow.
Offensive rebound, Nyblack. Gondrzak for 3. Yes!
Wow. Wow. Confidence unshaken, unstirred by the missed free throw by Koyer Gondrzak. Who other than Kari Nyblack comes up with the offensive rebound off of the missed free throw? And then Texas, you lose sight of your shooter. You get there too late. Take that one in your eye hole to give the Mountaineers the lead with 38 ticks to go, Ron.
Well, I liked it when she got the ball. She backed up. She looked to her right to see where Alan Taylor was, and if she was coming over, she didn't, and she shot it. Just a heads-up play by Gondrzak.
That's a big-time play. This is a young lady that shoots better than 80% from the free throw line, so missing the second free throw is unusual. But don't worry about it, team.
Right.
I'm going to redeem you right here from behind the three-point line.
3 Big 12 games, 3 20-point games for Gondrzak. Timeout situation. 2 left for West Virginia, 2 also for Texas. 18 fouls on the Longhorns, 5 on West Virginia. Let's take a look at that 3 again.
I can't get enough of this, Ron. I cannot get enough of this.
All right, here's the reaction, though. And this place is just rocking.
Look at Madison Smith. I love it. I love it. So this is the missed free throw. Kari Nyblack, man, killing it on the boards today. Take a beat. I'm a shooter. I'm going to knock it down. No question. These are the moments that I live for. Of course, that was Koyer Gondrzak, not me.
9-second difference, shot of the game clock, plenty of time. Sutton with 30 seconds to play. Koyer, oh my goodness! Cannot believe she took that shot. 25.9 to play in the ball game. Shot clock is turned off. West Virginia will go down the other end and shoot it.
I am
and with a 2-point advantage.
Befuddled.
Your look on your face when she shot that, because we just talked about it.
Literally, Shug Sutton has brought this team back to life in the third quarter with her performance. Joyner Holmes showing us she can score in the paint. And that's what we go for?
Yeah. Gondrzak, 21. The lead now 3. And it is not a safe lead, and Texas is going to call the timeout. So Texas will have 1 timeout left. West Virginia still with 2. And we're going to keep it right here to talk about the defense. First of all, Mike Carey's going to do, because you know Texas really isn't a great 3-point shooting team. What's your theory, and what did you do at Georgetown? Did you like to get the 2, play some defense, or try to get the 3?
At Georgetown, we would have defended, because our calling card was defense, which is what Mike Carey actually told me was the thing that his team takes the most pride in, their ability to defend. In this basketball game, it has not been as if Texas has been a super threat. They're shooting 25% from the 3-point line. I would defend.
Yeah.
I would defend. And, I mean, they hit a 3, or if Shug Sutton attacks, creates, and is able to come up with an and 1 play, we go to overtime. But I'm not going to put them on the free throw line and give Koyer and Holmes a chance to possibly out-rebound, and then I'm looking at being down 1.
20th meeting between these 2 teams, and it's turned into a dandy. You can see the game reset. These 2 teams split last year in the series. Texas has won 4 straight at West Virginia, in jeopardy this afternoon for Karen Aston. And here we go. Sutton slips and falls, whistle and a foul, and that's going to be on Tynice Martin. And that'll be her 4th personal foul.
Tough call. But both teams are in the bonus. So Suge Sutton will shoot 2 with just under 12 to play. That's a smart play on Sutton.
Oh, I agree.
We mentioned she can put pressure on defenses.
And now Sutton at the free throw line. $11.7 to play. Lead cut to 2.
Texas will show full court pressure.
That's why Mike Carey called the timeout with 11.7. Both teams now with just 1 timeout remaining. Now, if you're Karen Aston on the Texas bench, do you try to put some token pressure up front, make it difficult for them to throw the ball in?
I believe Texas or West Virginia will have the opportunity to advance the ball.
Yes, they should.
So they'll now be at half court.
But still, you want to get somebody in front of them.
100%. I'm putting Charlie or Joyner all over the ball. You got to make that inbound pass difficult. And then I probably, if Joanne Allen Taylor is still in the game and Celeste Taylor, I'm face guarding, quite honestly, Gondrajek or Tynice, Martin. Got to make somebody else on that floor make a decision, because there's going to be a smart ball player. Got to see what 5 is on the floor, but there's going to be one of your better decision makers inbounding the basketball. You're face guarding your go-to guards. You got to make somebody else beat you in this moment.
Well, Lucky Rudd is checked into the lineup. Now, if you're Texas, you probably see if you can put some pressure on them right away, get the steal. If you don't, you're probably going to have to foul immediately. And Nyblack will trigger it in. Mike Carey has everybody spread out all over the place. Martin.
Wow!
Tied her up! The possession arrow belongs to West Virginia.
What a great play by Jada Underwood. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, Ron, in terms of execution. I was just about to comment on Holmes, the way that she was defending Nyblack. I would have liked to see her force the ball to go back to the backcourt, but perfect trap.
Dangerous pass, and Underwood's going to have to foul Tynice Martin with 9 seconds to play in the ball game. And Tynice will go to the line, where this afternoon she's 5 of 7.
I don't like Martin getting to the free throw line early. She's a 90% free throw shooter, though, so what do I know?
She's tops in the conference.
I would have just hung out and moseyed my way on over. I wasn't quite 90. I was high 80.
There you go. Hey, that's still, these days, that's pretty good. And here is Tynice.
Cool, calm, and collected.
Still with the three-point shot. Even if she makes this, it's still available.
That's a beautiful stroke.
Karen will burn a 30-second timeout. Trailing by 3, 9 seconds left. Mike Carey's squad trying to snap a 4-game losing streak to the Longhorns here in Morgantown.
I'm curious to see who inbounds the ball. Suge Sutton,
good
obviously.
Point.
A little trickery. Isabel Palmer looks like she's going to check in. She's one of the better three-point shooters for this Texas squad.
Well, there used to be the old adage that the most dangerous person is the inbound passer.
I don't think Texas can afford to have Suge Sutton inbound just in case they find themselves in a bind.
Right.
But I agree with you. Whoever's inbounding, maybe it'll be Palmer. Watch that penetration, turn, jump stop, and kick, something that we saw Texas do a lot in the first half, although they found themselves turning the ball over in that instance.
Well, you know Mike is going to turn up the pressure here. Jamie Carey, assistant coach, a great player at Texas in her own right, trying to fire up the troops. And it will be Taylor with the inbounds. Palmer works off the screen with 7. Taylor.
Time.
Dangerous pass, and Tynice Martin picks it off. Tynice Martin timed that perfectly. Almost was baiting her to throw that ball.
Couple things. We'll take a look at it. Gosh, and you know, this is where you've got to stick to who you are. If you're a coach that hates cross-court passes, this is not a play in your playbook. However, Suge Sutton did not come off of that with the awareness of the switch.
Right. And that's probably going to do it. Texas, no field goals the last 2:31, only 1 of 8. And Tynice Martin puts a bow on this package. And that's going to do it.
Wow.
So West Virginia.